This is going to be a body bar class which is going to incorporate a weighted bar as well as matting and an exercise tube. Right now we're going to go through what is considered a dynamic warm-up. I'm going to utilize the weight of the bar and gradually go through left to right motions to work upper to lower body in a sequence so that by the time we start utilizing the bar with the bands, the body's had an adequate warm-up. Each of these motions here will be in some sequence of about 10 to 15 repetitions left to right side. The goal with the dynamic warm-up as opposed to static warming up is to promote the flow of blood to where the muscle in this case or muscles that are being worked get an adequate flow to warm them up so as not to strain any areas. The following sequence is involving movements again left to right, up and down, major muscle groups. In any type of activity, whenever I'm exerting, I am breathing out. Whenever I'm in some version of a relaxation phase, I'm breathing in. This warm-up sequence is approximately 2 minutes long. Again, the whole idea being is that I'm trying to promote a flow of blood from the upper torso to the lower torso to prepare the body for the activities with the band and the bar together. Okay, now we're going to utilize the bar and the bands together. This first movement will be a forearm curl. As I step onto the bands, the wider my stance, the greater the tension on the band. I'll do a sequence of 10 repetitions here. My thumb is over top of the bar to protect the wrist. As I curl the bar up in a forearm movement, I'm breathing out and I'm breathing in. From here, I'm going to hold this position and go into a shoulder press. I've got a slight bend in my legs to take pressure off the lower back as well as the knees. Again, the same format. As I drive up or push the bar up overhead, I'm breathing out. As I lower the bar down, I'm breathing in. This is a very good exercise for the back of the arms, shoulders, as well as chest, as well as core stability, having to support the body from this position. Now from here, I'm going to piece it together and do what would be a modified version of a power clean. In this case, I'm involving multiple muscle joints in one smooth transition of movements. With the bands, I will have resistance in the work phase as well as the relaxation phase. Now from here, I'm going to give the arms a break and work on the legs. When I'm doing the squat movement, I want to drop my hips back so as not to move the knees and try to emphasize the quadriceps and the glute muscles. Now from this position, I'm going to do what is considered or called a good morning exercise. It's basically a modified version of a back flexion to an extension. The goal here is I want to work the glute as well as the hamstring muscles and the lower back, but I don't want to strain any or all of them. Okay, now from this position again, I'm going to transition the bar back to the front. From here, I'm going to do a squat press. I'm basically in a front squat position, and then as I drive the bar overhead, I'm utilizing legs as well as upper body, in this case the arms, to get the shoulder, back of the arms, chest, as well as the legs in one smooth motion. Okay, now I'm going to go into a reverse grip and do a basic bicep curl. The curl is basically a pull motion, and so now I'm going to go into a push motion. From this reverse grip, I'm basically doing a shoulder press, but from the position of my hands, in this case in a supinated position, I'm getting a very good work on the tricep as well as the shoulders. I'm going to segue back into the bicep curl to work the front part of the upper arms. Now I'm going to switch up my grip again and do a front delt raise. So I'm going to isolate now on the front part of the upper arms. I'll have a slight bend in my elbows to take pressure off of the elbows. And again, as I exert, I will breathe out, breathe in. From this position, again, I want him to go in a posterior position and go into basically a single leg squat. The goal here is to create a balance between the right and left leg. So as not to stress the knee, I'm going to drop straight down, then raise straight up. Again, working the opposite side of the body. This way I'm trying to create a balance between the dominant leg, which is usually your right leg, and then the left leg. From this position, I'm going to do a multi-joint movement of a front delt raise to a single leg squat. maintain a constant sense of movement and to give the arms and legs a break, I will segue back to a bicep curl. The object of the program is to continually work varied muscle groups so as within a 30-minute time frame, we've got a balanced blend of upper to lower body activities. I'll change my position again and now go to the opposite side. With any of these movements, the goal here is to control the movement of the bar up as well as down. Next sequence, we're going to work the upper body again in what would be an upright row. The goal with any movement is to, again, as spoken about earlier, is control the movement of the bar to get maximal benefit on the muscle groups that are being worked. From here, I'm going to re-grip with the bar overhead. I'm going to lower the bar down and extend it up. This is a good exercise to get the muscles in the back of the arm, basically the triceps. Same idea here is I want to control the movement of the bar, smooth up and smooth down. This position, I'm going to widen my stance to put as much tension as possible on the exercise tubes. I'm going to face one direction, post off of my leg for balance, and do a one-arm row. The goal here again is to work right to left side in a pull motion, which will work predominantly the muscles of the back as well as the bicep. I've got a slight bend in my leg again so as to take pressure off the lower back. Position, again, I'm going to do a multi-joint movement of a shoulder press to a single leg press squat. The goal here again is to work multiple muscle joints to get the most amount of benefit from upper to lower body in one continuous movement. Segue again to a bicep curl. The idea being here is so as not to break down, form, and over fatigue a muscle group. We'll go from a push to a pull. Again, as noted earlier, the bicep curl is a pull movement, and so I'm giving the legs as well as the upper body, in this case the back of the arms and the shoulders, a break before I segue to the opposite side. Again, the goal with this movement is to work the quadriceps as well as the glutes, the muscles that extend the arms and the shoulders in one fluid movement. From this point, we'll segue out of the upper body movements and work the abdominal area now. The objective here is to use the weight of the bar to work the abdominal wall in controlled movements in reference to abdominal or trunk flexion. I've got my lower back touching the mat. Each time as I raise myself up, I want the abdominal wall to do the work. Position, I'm going to go from a right to left position to work the oblique muscles as well as the abdominal wall. I'll use the weight of the bar as my resistance, and each elbow will give me stability as I go from my right to left position and then a left to right position. The objective of any abdominal movement, like any type of lifting, push or pull, is to control the motion of the body. From this position, I'm going to have the bar overhead and my feet up off the ground, lower back touching. I will do a modified version of a crunch here, again utilizing the resistance of the bar to increase the resistance on the abdominal wall. The important thing here again is to allow the abdominal wall to lift up my trunk, smooth in the flexion as well as the relaxation. We'll now repeat into a sequence of oblique movements left to right, but at this point I will have to stretch further out to get more of a stretch on the muscle with the raising of the foot, trying to touch the bar into the inner part of the foot. Okay, from this position, we're going to go into a shoulder raise as well as a back flexion movement. The goal with this movement is to get the upper body of the shoulders as well as the hamstrings and the glute muscles and the erectors of the back in one smooth raise up and down with the bar.